Hi, and welcome to Moonbeam Connections. I'm Jacqui-Leigh. Today on Tarot Whispers, we're going to be looking at the Tower. So the Tower is all about upheavals, revelation, sudden change. So it's sort of anything that's a sudden change within your life. However, these aren't like minor things, right? This isn't like I was driving along and I got into a car accident, so I was late for work, right? I had a fender bender, that kind of thing. It's more like I was driving to work and I got into a major accident, ended up in the hospital for 3 months, and I had to go to rehab, and that would be a tower moment, okay? Losing a job, losing someone you love, losing a pet, losing your home, right? And it doesn't always have to be about losing. But it's these moments that sort of change your life forever, right? These profound, deep moments that change your life forever, change the trajectory of your life. Doesn't have to be negative though, right? Like everybody thinks, oh no, the tower's falling down, it's on fire, these people are falling out of the tower. But it can also be that these people were trapped in the tower. So yeah, it sucks that the tower's falling down and there's a fire, but these two people, they are now free from the tower, right? So it could be a bad relationship ending, right? A tower moment, this bad relationship ending. You may not know, I'm not sure where I'm going to live. I'm not sure I'm going to support myself. I'm not sure. However, even though it's this big upheaval, you're having to move, you're having to do a bunch of different things because this partnership's ending, it's actually a release. You're actually being freed. You're actually being freed from this relationship, right? Even though it may be a painful tower moment, you're being released from it. And now you can go forward. You can take the lessons you learned, understand the lessons you learned so we don't get trapped in these negative cycles, right? Understand why you did that. Try and get usually therapy in order to not do that again, so that when we go into our next relationship, we don't end up back trapped in our tower, right? We've been released from the tower. We've had this tower moment that's released us. We want to make sure we don't go right back into it. 222, I just saw 222 on the clock. So, and 222s are all about balance and choice, right? So it's about balancing work, life, whatever, play, work, whatever you need to balance in your life. Maybe it's your family and your extended family, those kind of things, or sort of being at a crossroads, having decisions to make. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? Do I go that way? Who even knows? So that's 222, right? Is about balance and choices. And so when you have those tower moments, that is your time to look at your life, make those choices, right? So I've just had this bad breakup. Do I go back into another bad relationship, or do I go back over here and start looking for a healthier relationship, right? I've just had this this loss of job. Do I now find a job that balances my life work better, or do I go back to a job where I'm working 50, 60, 100 hours a week and never get to see my family, right? So tower moments can definitely be negative. Definitely the moment itself usually is negative. It's not something we foresaw. It's not something we thought was going to happen. But once we are sort of broken out of that tower, the towers come down, we have this opportunity to do a reevaluation and decide, which direction am I going to go? I'm released from that now. Where am I headed at this point? So it could even be, this sounds a little morbid, but if you had a parent who you were having to do long-term care for because they were, not able to do everything for themselves for a very, very long time, they're passing away, very much a tower moment, very, very painful, but at the same time also provides this release, this burden of, I always had to take care of them, I always had to be at home, I had to make sure I was there at this time to give them their meds, I had to make sure I was there at this time to feed them, I had to make sure I was this time to help them get back into bed, whatever it is. So this is this great burden. Now all of a sudden that's come down because the person has passed away, very, very sad not taking that away, but all of a sudden I don't have to be here for the meds. I don't have to be here for the dinner. I don't have to be here for the bedtime. I'm now freed up to make choices to find a better balance in my life. Maybe I was, just going to work and taking care of my parent, going to work, taking care of my parent. Now I can go to work and have fun. I can find that balance. I make those choices in my life to balance my life. And so the tower moment is not only about, something, it doesn't even have to be necessarily negative, but something suddenly changing, suddenly shifting, your entire life. It doesn't have to be negative, and it also doesn't have to be bad, right? The results don't have to be bad. Even if the incident is negative, the outcome from that incident does not have to be negative. And this is a very long time I'm talking, so I hope you're still with me. But let's see what Spirit has to say to us about the Tower card. So as always, I do dub over. It might sound a little bit different or a little bit funny because I get into my meditation mode and I write in silence. So I will be quiet and we'll see what Spirit wants to tell us about the Tower. The Tower can be a very dramatic, painful moment in your life. But it is there to release you and change your direction. We all get caught up in towers. Aspects of our lives that do not serve our highest and greatest good. Sometimes we are not strong enough to get out of the situation, or we do not understand how detrimental the situation really is to our lives and our peace. In these times, Spirit sparks a tower moment. A moment that forces change, forces us to move. Something so life-changing that we actually begin to examine why. Why were we in the tower? Why did we feel stuck? How did we get inside in the first place? Those who use tower moments to better understand themselves and who they are and why they make the choices they do, will find they move on from the tower stronger, better, and more prepared. Those who do not choose to examine their lives will be doomed to repeat it again. Doomed to finding themselves in yet another tower that is holding them back from true happiness and from finding their true path in life. Always thank tower moments for allowing you to change your trajectory, even when painful. Good will be there to be found. Just look around. Love. Okay, so what it's saying is, like, the tower can be very painful, very dramatic moment in your life, but excuse me, there is this, it releases you, it changes your direction, right? We all get caught up in these towers, so whatever they are, you know, you have children, so that's kind of a tower. I have to take care of my kids, I have to feed my kids, right? All of a sudden they move out. That's not generally an all of a sudden, but let's say you had full custody of your children and all of a sudden their other parent is getting 50-50. So all of a sudden once a week they're just gone. And you've had them all the time. And now that just feels like this tower moment. My children are being ripped away from me. I don't know what they're doing. I don't have control. I don't like how the other parent parents. This is horrible, horrible, horrible. Yes, can be very bad. Might not be very fun. But at the same time, now you've got this whole week. So what are you going to do? Are you going to do charity work? Are you going to maybe get another job? Are you going to take the time to do something for you? Now you're actually getting this break, you know? So maybe that was the problem. You're just all working kids. Now that there's this 50-50 situation, all of a sudden you can balance. You got work, kids, and fun. Work, kids, and fun, right? And so even though the situation can be very detrimental, right? that these tower moments are forcing us to change somehow, forcing us to move along, forcing us to get out of the tower, break free of the tower. We weren't breaking free of the tower by ourselves, so spirit sparked something and made it come crashing down, right? So maybe that job you lost, you're like, oh, but that was such a good paying job, and I had benefits there, and now I just got kicked right out of that job. My whole world came crashing down. The tower just fell all on me. And you're like, this is the most horrible thing. But yeah, it was a good paying job, but you were stressed out all the time. You hardly ever saw your family. It gave you money, but that was it. But because it gave you that money, you were never going to leave it. You would have sat there and rotted and burned out and had a heart attack at 55 years old, right? But because spirit knocked you down, right, and made that tower come crashing down, you lost your job, all of a sudden you're in this other job, don't make as much money, don't work as many hours, but you know what, it's really fulfilling. You know what, I enjoy this job. Do you know what, I have a better work-life balance, I have a better work satisfaction. You know what, this job is not going to cause me to have a heart attack at 55. I will now live until 85. And these are some things that you may not know. You may never know how that tower moment changed the trajectory of your life, right? You may never understand that because you got pushed out of that job then, that when the scandal went down, you weren't caught up in it because you were already gone. Whereas a bunch of other people got caught up in some whatever scandal, right? Something like that, right? They have a politician, right, who doesn't get reelected, and they're like, oh my God, like this is so horrible. Where am I going to work? What am I going to do? I was expecting to get reelected. I can't believe I didn't get reelected. Tower, tower, tower moment. But then all of a sudden some big scandal breaks out within their party, within whatever, the people that did get reelected, and they're like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I wasn't part of that group. I could have very easily got swept up in there. Even if I didn't actually know what was going on, very easily my name could have got brought into it, and I could have gotten into trouble. I could have, had court cases pending against me, whatever it is, right? And so you may not always know what that tower moment is necessarily pushing you towards, or is saving you from, or is helping you out. You may not realize it. A lot of these things are retrospective, right? Like there's things that have happened to me in my life, and I thought, oh my God, like give you an example. There was one person at one of my workplaces just so mean, like turned on me. Was very, very nice. Thought I was a great person, and then one day just turned on me because they were listening to someone else's opinion. Was so mean to me, and I thought, this is the most horrible thing that's ever happened. I don't, what am I going to do? I like everybody. I get along with everybody in general. I don't like conflict. I really, what am I going to do? Well, I end up deciding, what, why am I staying here for this job? I have an opportunity to go away out of country to go get an education. Why am I staying here for this good paying job that I have? Right? Because now I am miserable in this good paying job that I have. I might as well, and that was literally my decision. This sucks over here right now. I might as well go to school over here. And that's what I did. And I went to school over there. That led me to the job I have now. I absolutely love my professional job, my daytime job. And things worked out wonderfully. And I look back at that now and I'm like, oh my gosh, I needed her to be mean to me so that I would leave. I was too comfortable there. I was making too good of money, and I would have stayed there probably forever. But because she was mean to me, I was like, why am I even staying at this job that right now I can't stand when I could be going over here to another country, getting the education I really want? And that's exactly what happened. I got the education I really, really wanted, which led me to the job. Within a couple months of me graduating from here, I got the job I want, the job I am still in today, the job I absolutely love. And that was 19 years ago that all happened, right? And so at the moment, it didn't feel good. I didn't think it was going to work out for me, but it actually did. And I didn't realize that until it was about 4 or 5 years later. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Because if she hadn't have been there, if she hadn't have turned on me, if she hadn't have been mean, I never would have changed my trajectory. And I could very well be sitting there today absolutely miserable that I didn't follow my dreams, because I absolutely love my professional career today. So I do hope this video went a little long because I ramble. Hopefully you like my rambling. If not, you're already gone, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I hope you enjoyed this message. I'm sending you peace, love, and happiness. Bye for now.